told me go find yourself. I said, baby, I never lost me. It was always here, always here. They asked me who I am, I said I'm nothing and everything. Pain is just a body, suffering's a mental thing. The world a mirror, baby, what you see is what you bring. Stop imagining you this or that, you already a king. Grew up in the struggle thinking I was what they called me. Broke, lost the problem, but that was never really me. I'm the space behind the noise, I'm the calm inside the storm. Been here before the trauma, gon' be here when it's gone. The real don't die, the fake never live. I don't want nothing from the world, not a thing. Seeker is the sword, yeah. I found it in me. Wisdom said I'm nothing. Love said I'm free. Between the nothing and the everything, my whole life flow. The mind create the abyss, but the heart let it go. I ain't practicing no more, I just be what I know. You want nothing, expect nothing, that's when blessings show. They try to define me, put me in a box and lock it. Truth don't fit in boxes, can't contain it in your pocket. Like the sky don't fight the clouds, I just let them pass through. Everything I thought I was, none of that was true. The real don't die, the fake never lived. I don't want nothing from the world, not a thing. Secret is the sword, yeah. I found it in me. Wisdom said I'm nothing, yeah. Love said I'm free. Little baby, I've been crying, but my tears ain't made of pain. Ain't made of recognition, seeing clearly through the rain. Every person that betrayed me was a mirror on the wall, showing me the parts of me I didn't want to call. Suffering is just resistance, non-acceptance of the real. You can't hear what you won't face, you can't face what you won't feel. But beyond the mind is something that ain't never been disturbed. Can't describe it with emotion, can't contain it with a word. Little baby, stop the suffering, just accept what is. Real don't need no proving, unreal never live. The supreme come uninvited when you let go the grip. The awareness never dies, only the ego slip. I done lost people, lost money, lost my mind a time or two. But the one who's watching all of that, he never lost his cool. That's the real me, that's the part they cannot take. That's the part that woke up every time my life would break. Wisdom told me I am nothing, and I felt free when she said it. Love told me I am everything, yeah. And I cry cause I believe it, yeah. Now between those two forever is where I choose to live. Not in fear, not in ego, just in all I have to give. The world don't owe me nothing and I'm good with that today. I stopped demanding answers and the truth came anyway. Uninvited, unexpected, like the sun after the rain. Never broke again, don't just mean money, it means pain. You are already that which you see. You are already that which you see. Oh, real don't die now, unreal never live, never live, never live.
Yo. Peace to the Cosmic P-Pushers. We here for a late one. A late one on a Wednesday night. Nigga just said, son said, do it. So we're going to let the action happen and see what comes about. Zero, the Mexico hero, my dog. Peace. My guy. Always in full attendance to the P. Lady G, 832. What's happening? Glad you're here with us. Standing on principle with us. Tonight, we're going to get into a fire chapter of The Heart of Awareness by Thomas Byron. The Heart of Awareness is a book written based off of the Ashtavakra Gita. Ashtavakra Gita is a guru, so-called guru. right? We can get into that whole conversation about that shit. But a person who has realized that all is an illusion and at the same time there is no illusion. Oh, a so-called person who has realized that all knowledge is false knowledge, but still proceeds to teach knowledge only with the intent to seem. I never met the nigga, but the intent to seem to make it very clear that all knowledge is false knowledge. Not to know that all knowledge is false knowledge and hide and act and trick a person just for some cynical reason or something like that. No, gives you the shit straight, direct, straight punches to the guts, right to the nuts, right to the cunt. You gonna get it. You might not like it and it might not please the ego. But that's exactly what so-called knowledge is supposed to do anyway. The real shit is supposed to do anyway. It's supposed to hit you on the point like, God damn, so why is damn, so that mean and then you finally get to this point where it's like, you know what? I don't even fucking care. I got this understanding that none of this shit is as it seems to be. And once I get that understanding, it's like, oh, okay, I get what to do now. The same thing I've been doing. Before enlightenment, chop wood. After enlightenment, carry wood and chop wood, whatever the fuck it say. Zero can help me out with that one. I always fuck it up, get tongue tied with that one. But it's just the realization of what is. I like to say clear seeing, to be able to see things clear, not with our egotistical judgment of what things should be like. Because you got to understand, you can get caught up in that shit in spirituality as well. You know, we trade old concepts for newer concepts. At this point, I don't know if there's a way around that shit. I don't know if it's a way around trading concepts for one concept, because once you really see things for what it is, right? All you can do in the so-called matrix, air quotations for those who not watching the video, air quotations. All you can do is swap one illusion for another illusion. How can I even say the spiritual knowledge is an illusion? Because it places you in different and limitations, nonetheless. More limitations. It's still limitations. You're not getting away from these limitations or these constraints. So now you swapped out what's up, my nigga, for what's up, king? What's up, God? What's up, Brahmin? What's up, pure consciousness? You know, and now you swapped out these bitches and hoes for divine feminine. You know, you swapped it out for that. Or maybe you've learned some yoga terms. Oh, that's my fellow Sakshi, or whatever the fuck, you know, whatever the fuck you choose. You know what I'm saying? Now we're using words like, you know what I'm saying, pure consciousness, Brahman, or you know what I'm saying? Now we understand what the chakras are, and now we moving in those. It's no fucking different. It goes deeper than that, but that's just the surface level of the shit. You swapped out one illusion for the next. At first, you didn't know none of the psychological terms. Now we're using a lot of different psychological terms. You know what I'm saying? At first, we didn't speak so much in philosophical terms. Now we speaking through the lens of a philosophical nigga. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to be able to see the shit clear, bro. Because you think niggas who talk like niggas and the folks who talk like this are some sort of a different level or a different statue or higher than the person, even though you may not say it, because you understand something that they don't. And once you get through this shit, you really understand that there's really not anything higher. It's just you put more focus in this area. You know what I'm saying? Like a nigga who work on cars obviously can run circles around me when it's time to talk about cars. Like, I don't know what a cam is, nigga. I don't know, or niggas who talk about sports. They got all their energy in that. You got all your energy in this. And by way of culture, of way of the mind and the ego building up something that lasts forever as an idea, God, heaven, hell, demons, spiritual paths, and come up with these concepts and give them more meaning than the normal, regular, materialistic world. And we take that same desire and will and place it here. But it's the same thing if you get down to the nitty gritty of it. So today we're going to get into chapter 18 because I won't be doing this Sunday. Friday's my birthday. I got family that's going to be in town. So I guess I got to do the normal human birthday thing. Yeah. Whatever. What Zero say? Absolutely, man. I was thinking that the other day. We are here because we resonate. Just it. Nothing special. It's like being in high school versus in primary school. It's not higher or lower. That's it. It's not higher or lower. That's it. You don't walk around, but walking up on fifth graders like, yeah, you old stupid ass peasant. You don't know shit, nigga. I'm better than you niggas. You niggas ain't shit. It's like, nigga, what? Like that don't even make sense, right? You wouldn't do that. So I protest. Don't do the same shit with the spiritual shit. You know what I'm saying? If motherfucker invite these type of conversations, have it. If they get to rejecting it and wanting to argue about it, let them have it. Like, you know what? God damn, you right. I ain't think about it like that. Yeah, I got a call. I gotta go. You know, like let them have it, bro. Like this ain't what that's for. Appreciate the Zero for the happy early birthday. Appreciate you, bro. So for those P-pushers that are up late and that's gonna catch this in the morning, this is gonna be a long chapter. So we just gonna do one chapter, chapter 18, and then we'll finish off with chapter 19 and 20 on an upcoming future day. My niggas. Oh, Zero said his birthday was last Saturday. Well, goddamn, Cancer Gang in the building. Happy belated birthday. Happy belated birthday, Zero, the Mexico hero. My dog. Happy belated birthday, bro. Let's get this up here. Okay, I gotta remove that first and then add this. Boom. All right. So I'm assuming the audio's good. We about to tap in. We about to do what we normally do. Let's see. We gotta pull that down. I forgot how we gotta do this. Move that to the side. Whip that over. Then whip that over. Y'all can't see all this, but I can. All right. All right, chapter 18, the master. And he says, love your true self. Now we know we see that capital S self, we talking about the self, as in knowledge of thyself or the self. So my nigga said, love your true self, which is naturally happy and peaceful and bright. Awaken to your own nature, and all delusions melt like a dream. Is that not what we always say here, or what I've always said? And it's not just by way of reading a goddamn book. That's my direct experience that I've had. The bullshit just starts to fall away, layer by layer, like an onion, goddammit. The delusions of the beliefs mental constructs that I've had from my mental impressions of my environment that I kept alive by way of repetition and habit just started to fall away. And some may even pop up again. You got to be cool with that. That don't mean you failed. That don't mean you ain't doing it right. Whatever the fuck that supposed to mean. Sometimes that shit pops up again. and then it falls away again. We gotta get this little undertone of this so-called perfection, because what the fuck is perfection? Like, to keep it 100, the word is perfect just the way it is, with all its calamities and bullshit that we don't like. The real raw reality is human beings just cannot accept what the fuck is. We just can't accept what the fuck is. So we always project something better. Remember, we talked about this on a live stream the other day, dealing with desire, will, and fear, free will and fear. It's trying to continue to exist by way of something else. Because if you get content, to the mind, to the ego, that means death. All right. How much pleasure you take in acquiring worldly goods, But to find happiness, you must give them all up. The sorrows of duty, like the heat of the sun, have scorched your heart. But let stillness fall on you with his sweet and cooling showers, and you will find happiness. For the world is nothing. It is only an idea. That's what we just went through and talked about. What does that mean for that the world is nothing? It simply means that once you discern through the illusion and you understand the proper functionings of the mind and how the mind creates reality, there is no reality without the observer. Like they try to do in quantum physics or the mechanic, whatever physics. When the observer starts observing, the thing that's observed responds back to the observer based off the observer. And don't get it twisted. The ego and the mind can play the observer role as well. It can try to put that mask on as well. And that's exactly what it does here. And that's how the world is created. It's hard to believe, but that's your fucking direct experience. Let's keep going. But the essence of what is and what is not can never fail. But listen, for the world is nothing. It is only an idea. But the essence of what is and what is not can never fail. The understanding of what is and what is not is never going to fail. The self is always the same, already fulfilled, without flaw or choice or striving. That's something that we got to get an understanding of with when we dealing what we realizing here. There is no flaw in it. This self that we're talking about, this consciousness, this awareness, whatever the fuck made up name that we want to give it, because we know we can't directly describe it. We just use the word consciousness, the concept of consciousness, which is the true self, the real you, the real I. It does not have any flaws. It's not trying to improve. There's nothing to improve. It has nothing to compare itself to for it to be improved by way of whatever standard for it to be improved by. There is no measuring stick that it can be measured by. There is no expectations that someone can lay on it. And if you have expectations, your expectations have to become paired to something. The real you has nothing that can compare itself to. There's no concept of that. So it's without flaw and it's without choice or striving. Close at hand, but boundless. It's so close, but at the same time is limitless. When the self is known, all illusions vanish. The veil falls, and you see clearly. If you want to know what enlightenment is, If you want to know what being in contact with your higher self is, it's just that right there. What did he just say? When the self is known, all illusions vanish. The veil falls and you see clearly. That's it. Don't mean the world turned into a whole bunch of green numbers and signs, symbols just going up and down the stream like the fucking Matrix. And you don't see people's dolls, cats, spoons, cell phones, and vapes and water bottles. No, nigga. That's not what that means. You just see clearly. Your sorrows are dispelled, for the self is free and lives forever. Everything else is imagination, nothing more. Hold up, we gotta highlight that. Your sorrows are dispelled. You start seeing through the shit that hurt you and break you down and make you cry, make you sad. The hurt, the crying, the sadness still is gonna be there. I don't know if you have the concept that it's just gonna go away, but that's not the case. It's gonna be there, but you see through them. I don't know how much directly I can say that. I'm gonna leave it there. Because he understands this, the master acts like a child. Because he understands this, the master acts like a child. When you know you are God, and what is and what is not are both imaginary. Listen, when you know, not when you guess, not when you believe, not when you assume, but when you know you're God, and that what is and what is not are both imaginary, and you are at last free of desire, then what is there left to know or to say or to do? I can give you my answer, but what's yours for yourself? If you know you God and you know what is and what is not are both imaginary. So that means you know what is true and what is not true. So that means the truth is imaginary just as well as the non-truth is imaginary. Can you accept that? You don't gotta accept it because it is what the fuck it is. I tell you that much. When you understand that both of them are imaginary and nothing is true, and you at last are free of desire. You free of free will, nigga. Because you understand that the happening is happening outside of your so-called imaginary free will to do what you want to do. Because what happens when you have this so-called concept of free will and desire, you think, I gotta make it happen. I gotta do this. It's up to me. I gotta have it done. These are nothing but thoughts. And these thoughts end up producing, you know what? It's the desire to continue. That's going to be there. But you thinking that's your will and your desire is a totally different thing. And that's what he means by free of desire. Then what is there left to do? Then what is there left to know or to say or to do? For the self is everything. When the seeker knows this, he falls silent. He no longer thinks, I am this and I am not that. Such thoughts melt away. He is still. Without pleasure or pain, distraction or concentration, learning or ignorance. His nature is free of conditions. Win or lose, it makes no difference to him. Alone in the forest or out in the world, a god in heaven or a simple beggar, it makes no difference. He is free of duality. This is not a talking point to walk out in the world and talk and tell people or try to consciously present yourself as that type of person. That shows how deep of the rooted you still are in the so-called illusion that doesn't even really exist anyway. It's like trying to walk around this bitch naked to prove that you are not the body. Like, I might as well not wear no clothes. I ain't gonna wear no clothes, and I'm gonna walk around naked and show everybody. That what are you proving? Wealth or pleasure, duty or discrimination mean nothing to him. What does he care about what is accomplished or neglected? Finding freedom in his life, the seeker takes nothing to heart, neither duty nor desire. That's really it right there. Because a lot of people take this shit to heart. It's a lot of shit that we take to heart. Hold up. There we go. I can highlight it. There we go. Think about all the shit that you take to heart. I think about all the shit that I have taken to heart. But by way of me seeing things clearly, I'm like, damn, hold up. Why the fuck do I like? And I won't get too deep in detail, but I use my own example. Like, me and my woman, we had a conversation not long ago. Certain things hit the ego, and I'm like, ooh, ah. And I waited for a couple of days to respond because I had to observe, like, hold up, I kind of took that, like, damn, why would I? That probably come back from when my mama used to do this and say this, and it felt like this, and now that produced this and that, this, don't. Oh, shit. Ain't that some bullshit? Let that shit go. It naturally starts to fall. There's no fight between me. There's not a 7-day, 7-step method that I got to do to think I'm willing my free will to get rid of this. It's a natural happening once you see the clearness of it, once you can see it. He has nothing to do but to live out his life. When we was kids, I don't know about y'all, but growing up black, we always say, motherfuckers be like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this. We'll turn around, look at motherfuckers and say, hey, I ain't got to do shit but stay black and die. That's it. That's the type of shit he talking about right there. I ain't got to do shit but be the self, recognize that I'm the self, and die. All this other shit you talking about I got to do, I don't. The master lives beyond the boundaries of desire, delusions of the world, meditation on truth, liberation itself. What are they to him? You see the world and you try to dissolve it, but the master has no need to. You see? You reach this point, so-called point. See, there we go, making this shit some illusionary journey again. But for all intents and purposes, to convey what we're trying to say here. You reach this point, there is no active trying to decode through the illusion. This is what I be talking about. All this trying to decode. Listen, man, the fucking the so-called illusion that you're trying to decode, it's an illusion. So it has endless things for your black ass, white ass, pink ass, green ass, yellow ass to be trying to decode, bro. You're gonna be decoding for the rest of your goddamn life, only to figure out, what did I decode? Damn, I wish I would have lived a little bit more. Or damn, I wish I would have let that shit go. It's like, all this decoding don't do shit. All this decoding ain't doing shit. Need you to understand that. Yeah, where you going with all this decoding shit? Besides to walk up on somebody else and show somebody else what you decoded. And I'm not saying you don't. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the decoding, but you're trying to decode and dissolve the very illusion before you. When even what you're using to decode it is an illusion. The very thing that you using to dissolve the world, the illusion of the world, needs to be dissolved itself. He is without desire. For though he sees, for all basically saying, although he sees nothing. So he sees the same thing that you and I see: a spoon, a car, a tree, the sky, the sun, the moon, and water. He sees it all. When you have seen God, you meditate on him, saying to yourself, I am he. But when you are without thought and you understand there is only one without a second, on whom can you meditate? See, so when you realized it, like really realized it, on what God can you meditate? This is what's being stated here. What God, what sign, symbol can you meditate on? When you are distracted, you practice concentration. But the master is undistracted. He has nothing to fulfill. What is there left for him to accomplish? He acts like an ordinary man. You may see the nigga at the store getting him a goddamn Mad Dog 2020. Might see him outside of the store pants sagging. You might see her at the store with half her ass hung out. You might see him or her taking a trip. You may see him with a Gucci bag on. You may see him in an apartment living by himself playing his video games. You may see him or her in whatever light. You never know. They act like an ordinary man. But inside, he is quite different. He sees no imperfection in himself, nor distraction, nor any need for meditation. He is awake, fulfilled, free from desire. He neither is or is not. He neither exists nor does he not exist. He looks busy, but he's doing nothing. Are you hearing and seeing and understanding the paradoxes here? It's one sentence, I'm doing absolutely nothing, and then the next sentence, I'm doing absolutely everything the average person is doing. What does that say to you? Before you try to place these so-called gurus or teachers, spiritual teachers or masters on some higher level than you, you may not do this consciously, but unconsciously you're thinking, damn, I need to get to this level. I ain't there yet. I'm trying to get there, but I ain't there yet. By way of our culture and society, we've been taught that we somehow inferior, and by way of religion as well, all religions, and I'm not excluding anyone. All of them motherfuckers play some type of hierarchy. So when you get to see a whole holy man and people like what they saying and people listening to him, people like, yeah, he be saying the truth, that real shit. But here we go. We're talking about a motherfucker who say they don't do nothing and they ain't got to do nothing. But at the same time, you see him doing shit. But at the same time, he's doing nothing. He's realized what he really is doing no thing. There's nothing for that thing which is eternal and boundless and limitless to do. Yes, this human body, which is nature. Yes, this mind, which is nature, is doing shit. In the way of those things doing shit, it seems that there's just a regular, normal man. striving or still. He is never troubled. So you see here, there's still a recognition, enlightened or not. There's still a recognition of striving. So whether that man is striving or still, whether he's striving to provide for the family or striving to get his business off the ground, whether she's striving to be a mother or a perfect wife or still, it don't matter. In the background, motherfucker's not troubled. He does whatever comes his way. If it comes my way, deal with it. I'm not imagining, he's not imagining things in the future that could come that way and could destroy this and could do that. When it come this way, we handle that shit. Other than that, fuck them. The cake's been baked. What bro say on on Snow on the Bluff? Anything other than that, fuck them. The cake's been baked. Fuck them. We ball. He does whatever comes his way, and he is happy. He has no desires. He has cast off his chains. He walks on air. He is free, tumbling like a leaf in the wind from life to life. He has gone beyond the world, beyond joy and sorrow. His mind is always cool. He lives as if he had no body. His mind is cool and pure. He delights in the self. There is nothing he wishes to renounce. So there's nothing he wishes to detach from. He misses nothing. His mind is naturally empty. He does as he pleases. He is not an ordinary man. But what would the last sentence up here say? Hold on, where is it? He acts like an ordinary man. You see what I'm saying here? He acts like an ordinary man. But he is not an ordinary man. GT 9655, we are reading The Heart of Awareness. The Heart of Awareness is in the title. Heart of Awareness, chapter 18. Honor and dishonor mean nothing to him. The body does this, not I. My nature is purity. With these thoughts, whatever he does nothing. There you go. With these thoughts, what he does nothing. He does nothing. But he pretends not to know. That sounds a little bit different from us running around here acting like we know every goddamn thing. And braggadocious about it, if that's a word. Okay, GT. Zero says, look like a normie with the essence of Buddha. God damn it. He finds freedom in this life, but he acts like an ordinary man. Yet he is not a fool. Happy and bright, he thrives in the world. Weary of vagaries of the mind, he is at last composed. He does not know or think or hear or see. Undistracted, he does not meditate. Unbound, he does not seek freedom. Check this out. Unbound, he does not seek freedom. But in the first sentence here, it says he finds freedom in this life. If he found freedom, when that automatically assume that he has sought freedom, what he's saying here is he understands that he's not bound. By way of him understanding that he's not bound, he understands there is no such thing as freedom. So he's free, even free from the concept of being free. Let that sink in. He sees the world, but he knows it's an illusion. He lives like God. Even when he is still, The selfish man is busy. Even when he is still, the selfish man is busy. Even when a selfish man is sitting completely still, he is still busy. Even when he is busy, the selfless man is still. Let's highlight that. So even when a selfish man is sitting still, they still busy. All in their minds trying to figure shit out, trying to do this, trying to do that, trying to goddamn generational wealth this, and trying to goddamn that, and trying to goddamn this. Why though? The selfish man is thinking about what I need to do for me, even if it involves doing things for the other person. It don't necessarily mean selfish like gimme, even though that is what it is, but not necessarily like that. Like, you know, the type of people you see like, oh, that's a selfish motherfucker. But the selfless man, even when he is busy, he is free. Meaning, he understands that none of this shit is me. None of these things that perceive to be mine are really mine. But I have an understanding of that. There is no me, aka ego. There is none of that. And I know that. So even when I do for people around me, I know that. Even when he is busy, the selfish man is still. He is free. His mind is unmoved by trouble or pleasure. Free from action, desire, or doubt. He is still and he shines. His mind does not strive to meditate or to act. It acts or meditates without purpose. I shouldn't have to. Facts, GT. The mind remains busy. Zero said, man, that's crazy. Well, the mind has to remain busy. If you think you are it, it has to play the role, I guess. That's exactly it. You ain't got to guess. That's what the mind is going to do. And that's exactly what he's saying here. Like the mind is going to do that. But there's something in you that knows that you are not the mind. You're not limited to the concept of what we call the mind, which is imaginary in its own self. But what we do know is that the nature of the mind is movement. It's going to continue to move. This is about realizing that's what that does. And I'm not that. I'm the observer of that. Holistically, ultimately, I'm all of it. But on this level here that's being spoken upon, I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm the one that watches the mind run back and forth all goddamn day, begging for attention. When a fool hears the truth, when a fool hears the truth, he is muddled. When a wise man hears it, he goes within. When a wise man hears the truth, he goes within. It's that simple. It makes you go within. What the fuck is the definition of muddled? Hey Siri. Define muddled.
Muddled means in a state of bewildered or bewildering confusion or disorder. Do you want to hear the next one?
Yes.
As a verb, it means.
Oh, it ain't gonna say it. I gotta finish reading
it. Okay, I found this on the web for a guy.
So it means in a state of disordered, nigga, disgruntled, discombobulated, nigga, throwed off. When a motherfucker hear the truth, Yeah, but it says in Corinthians 1:17, 6 that that's the devil. Get away from me. That's evil. That's low vibration. Get away from me. When they hear that shit, fuck them up. When a wise man hear, he immediately goes within. He may look like a fool, but he is not muddled. The fool practices concentration and control of the mind, but the master is like a man asleep. He rests in himself and finds nothing more to do. Striving or still, the fool never finds peace, but the master finds it just by knowing how things are. Hold up, let's read that right there. That last sentence, man. Let me read zero comment, but we got to go back to that. That last little chunk right there is it. I'm telling you, that's it. Zero says, mind always identify. I am now able to watch my mind and the story that creates. And I am like, what is this whole, in quotations, what is this whole movie? It isn't real. Observe that mind of yours. Observe that mind. The fool practices concentration of the mind, but the master is like a man asleep. Check this out. He rests in himself and finds nothing more to do. Striving or still, the fool never finds peace. So if you're looking for peace, like when I get this, when I get that, when I finally understand this, when I finally understand that, once I buy this, once I buy that, once I do this for my family, once I do this for myself, motherfucker will never find the peace that they looking for. Because what is one thing that we do know? Things break down and build up. So you can spend your whole life trying to build something up for some false security, and you'll watch it crumble right before your goddamn eyes. This is why you'll never find peace when you're moving like that. When you're thinking like that. When your belief system is structured like that. You should be able to be okay with it coming any kind of way that it comes. I'm not going to say you're going to be like, well, goddamn, this shit didn't happen. But you got to really know that this is what it is. And you'll actually get to laughing at that shit. Because what did he say right here? But the master finds it just by knowing how things are. Just by recognition and realization of how this whole thing that we call life, this whole thing that we call the world, this whole thing that we call God, heaven, afterlife, enlightenment, higher self and lower self. Just by knowing how things are, the so-called master, which is you, the so-called master finds that same peace in just that. While everybody chasing external things, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with external things and getting them. But you do realize that they won't bring peace. The master finds the peace in just knowing the whole of the illusion. In this world, men try all kinds of paths, but they overlook the self, the beloved, awake and pure, flawless and full, beyond the world. The fool will never find freedom by practicing concentration, but the master never fails. Just by knowing how things are, he is free and constant. Free and constant. Just by knowing the way things are. Because the fool wants to become God. He never finds him. We got to get back to our God self. We got to get back to our God self. Based off of your eagerness to find it, you will never get it. And it's the same thing with the peace. Just by your eagerness to find peace, don't you notice those type of people don't never really find it? Why? It's what we talked about the other day. We want peace, and a constant harboring or dry humping of the concept of peace is the very thing that's bringing you the opposite of peace: stress, fear. Because you have put peace over here. Hold up. You put peace over here and you over here. And it's constantly trying to get to it, and peace just doing this, just moving away. And you just keep trying to go forward instead of realizing that it's already there. Realizing you actually disturbing the peace by trying to get peace. Let that sink in. The master is already God. Because what do you say? Because the fool wants to become God, he never finds him. The master is already God without ever wishing to be. Rafe 63 motherfucking 6 capital PPP, peace and abundance, my guy. Appreciate you for stopping by. The fool has no foundation, fretting to be free. Here we go, we're finna say it, right? Fretting to be free. He only keeps the world spinning. Just said the shit. Just said this. But the master cuts it at its root, the root of all suffering. Let's read that again. Let's start back up here. The fool will never find freedom by practicing concentration. But the master never fails just by knowing how things are. He is free and constant. Because the fool wants to become God, he never finds him. The master is already God without ever wishing to be. And you're not going to be able to artificially do that. You're not going to be able to fake it from this concept of what he's talking about. You're not going to be able to fake that. You're not going to be able to artificially, okay, let me stop trying to become God now. This whole time I've had this concept of I'm becoming God or getting back into my Godhead or becoming God again. And you're not going to be able to fake that. You're not going to be able to tell yourself I'm not, okay, so to become the God, I need to stop trying to become God. Now you're actively, egotistically trying to artificially create a realization. That's not how this shit works. It is not one that you can control. It just happens. And when it happens, there is no... I can give you a story for my whole spiritual journey and try to connect it all together, but it does no good. That's the mind trying to put shit together, creating this story. Fine, let the story be there. But you got to understand the story is of imagination because it's of knowledge. It's of the past. I can only tell my story within the constraints of language. Language is a limitation itself, which means the knowledge that was gained over time to create the language is, man, I know somebody feeling me. The fool has no foundation, fretting to be free. He only keeps the world spinning. But the master cuts its root, cuts at its root. He cuts at its root, the root of all suffering. Because the fool looks for peace, he never finds it. But the master is always at peace because he understands how things are. How many of y'all have hopped in his chat since we've been on this so-called non-duality shit that says that y'all have said, once y'all understood this shit, it just makes this shit so much simpler. This shit takes so much pressure up off of your shoulders of trying to become this master meditator, this master ritual doer, this masterful person who understands all the signs and fucking symbols. This person who's scared of reincarnation, worried about karma. What I've understood, what I've realized is just by understanding the way that things are, that shit brings me peace. Because there's nothing happening to me. The real me, like my nigga Future. The real me. If a man looks to the world, how can he see himself? The master is never distracted by this or that. He sees himself, the self that never changes. The fool tries to control his mind. How can he ever succeed? Mastery, oh man, didn't we just say this shit? Mastery always comes naturally to the man who is wise and who loves himself. You think you're gonna artificially create this shit, gang? By way of some methodology? It may look that way to your mind, but that's not actually what the fuck is happening. You can say this happened because I did X, Y, and Z, this, and this, and that. That's the same way niggas do rituals. Niggas came into this game understanding by doing a ritual and expect instant gratification from it. You so hyper focused on the way that the ritual is supposed to play out, you miss the way that the ritual actually played out. You so hyper focused on peace, you so hyper focused on trying to goddamn align with your higher self, you missing the higher self right there in your goddamn face. What I noticed is once I hit after a certain experience happened that I've talked about enough times, shit just started to fall away. It started to hit me. And that pressure of reincarnation and all of this and that and this and that, it just instantly came up off a nigga. You go back a couple years, a year or two back in them old videos, you'll be able to tell the change and you'll be able to notice the change. And ain't nothing that I artificially did. And the way what I told you how it ended up happening, it was so goddamn random. I wasn't doing no meditation practice. I wasn't doing no goddamn rituals. It just fucking happened that I was naturally able to see how things are. And it just came to me to be so goddamn funny. Like, what the fuck do we think we doing then? That means all of this story that I done told myself that I felt like built me up to this point is just something that I created. When I say I'm talking about the little I, the mind. Let's see what Wave 636 said. He said, real talk to something. Zero said, this is amazing. Ray says, so quick to jump to the glamorous and the entertaining part. Facts. At what you're studying and researching doesn't encourage you to change, you're doing something wrong. You're not in so-called what we call alignment, my nigga. You're not in alignment, my nigga. You get in alignment, my nigga. And I think you quite naturally will. You have no choice but to be. I don't think we have choices like we think we got, y'all. One man believes in existence, another one says there is nothing. Rare is the man who believes in neither. He is free from confusion. He is free from oh yeah. Shout out to you, Rave636, for sharing the session, bro. That's love, brother. That's love. Appreciate that share. One man says, one man believes in existence. Another one says there is nothing. Rare is the man who believes in neither. Is it or is it not? What is and what is not? Neither one of them are true. How? That's not an easy thing to fucking accept, bro. It's just not. Once you understand the mind and human beings, it's just not easy to accept. And I ain't mad at a motherfucker for not accepting it. I get it. I get it. There were things that were told to me that I didn't want to accept. And years down the line, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, damn. Hold up, y'all. Let me go grab another water. Hold up. Oh, shit. All right, we back. Let's get back to it. Straight back to it. The fool may self. That what the fuck? The fool may know that the self is pure and indivisible, but because of his folly, he never finds it. He suffers all his life. Meaning, he gets it intellectually. He understands all of it intellectually, but internally, it ain't really what it is for him. The man who longs to be free stumbles without support. No, the mind of a man who longs to be free stumbles without support. But the mind of a man who is already free stands on its own. It is empty of passion. The senses are tigers. When a timid man catches sight of them, he runs for safety to the nearest cave to practice control and meditation. He's talking about those ones who run off in the wilderness and run off grid and go off grid. Because that person's timid, is what he's saying. The senses start triggering them. The things that are happening in reality, he wants to run off and go into seclusion and get to the nearest safe cave or the nearest safe off-grid location to practice control and meditation. But a man without desires is a lion. When the senses see him, it is they who take flight. They run away like elephants as quietly as they can. If they cannot escape, they serve him like slaves. I remember my OG Panic said this. Or even Bobby said a statement of Heru. When Heru was a child, the 5 elements were his guides, his teachers, his directors. He had to do what they said. But when he became of age, they became his servants. Same thing with the 5 senses. Still, we're talking about the elements. And another thing Penny said, I remember him saying something like, it's supposed to be the spirit directing the intellect, not the intellect directing the spirit. So when a nigga get books and shit, I'm using the same example that I'm saying. I'm paraphrasing what he said. So it's not the intellect trying to get the book. This is what I say. It's not me trying to get to book to learn new bigger words to be able to regurgitate and go out and sound real smart off of new words and concepts that I learned. And here's something else the unfortunate said. Learning is done subconsciously. You can read a whole book and one thing, one sentence, one line be the thing that goddamn boom, that's it. But if you looking to read the book to deeply get an intellectual, knowledgeable understanding of it, like it's a goddamn manual to build a car or some shit, you are a slave to your intellect. And just like that is the way that he's talking about with the senses. A man who has doubts, a man who has no doubts, and whose mind is one with the self, no longer looks for ways to find freedom. He lives happily in the world, seeing and hearing, touching and smelling and tasting. Just by hearing the truth, he becomes spacious and his awareness pure. He is indifferent to striving or stillness. He is indifferent to his own indifference. The master is like a child, my niggas. He does freely whatever comes his way, good or bad. By standing on his own, a man finds happiness. By standing on his own, a man finds freedom. By standing on his own, he goes beyond the world. By standing on his own, he finds the end of the way. When a man realizes he is neither the doer nor the enjoyer, the ripples of his mind are stilled. The master's way is unfretted and free of guilt. Can I highlight that word? What the fuck does that word mean? Let's put it in on Google. It won't pop up on here. Being completely honest and free from deceit or cunning. Oh, hold up. Guile. It is free of guile, sly, insidious, cunning, or crafty deception. So he's free of deception, right? And is free of deception. He shines. But for the fool, there is no peace. His thoughts are full of desire. The master, but for the fool, there is no peace. His thoughts are full of desire. The master is free of his mind, and his mind is free. In this freedom, he plays. He has a wonderful time, or he withdraws and lives in a mountain cave. Either or. If the master encounters a king or a woman or somebody he dearly loves, he is without desire. And when he honors a god or a holy place or a man versed in the scriptures, there is no longing in his heart, none at all. He is perturbed. Let's look that up. Not puberty or not concerned. Okay. Untroubled, unconcerned. He is unconcerned even when his servants despise him or his wives, sons, and grandsons mock him. Even when the whole family makes fun of him, he is undismayed. For him, there is no pain in pain, no pleasure in pleasure. Only those who are like him can know his exaltation. He has no form. His form is emptiness. He is constant and pure. He has no sense. See, like when he's saying that in pain, there is no pain. So even when he feels pain, which means what? He recognizes pain. He understands that there actually is no pain. So even if when he feels pleasure, he understands there actually is no pleasure. To him, the self, pure awareness. All right, I had to run that back and make sure that's understood clearly. He has no sense of duty, which only binds men to the world. The master fulfills his duties and is always untroubled. You see that? He has no duties, but then again, this nigga fulfills his duties. Do you get it? You got to understand what's being said here. The fool does nothing and is always troubled and distracted. The master goes about his business with perfect equanimity. He is happy when he sits, happy when he talks and eats, happy asleep, happy coming and going, because he knows his own nature. He does what he has to without feeling ruffled like ordinary people. He has no duty, but still in the end, he does what he has to do without feeling ruffled like ordinary people. God damn, bro. I don't want to do this shit, bro. I swear to God, bro. I ain't doing this shit, bro. I'm going to do it, though. None of that. Soothing and shining, like the surface of a vast lake. His sorrows are at an end. The fool is busy even when he is still. Even when he is busy, the master gathers the fruits of stillness. The fool often spurns his possessions. The master is no longer attached to his body. So how can he feel attraction or aversion? The awareness of the fool is always limited by thinking or by trying not to think. Think about that. What he's saying here. Or not, don't think about that. He says here, the awareness of the fool is always limited by thinking. So you're placing limitations on the pure awareness that you are by thinking or by trying not to think. So when we here have a silent mind, no thoughts, it's not what the fuck you actually thinking. By you trying not to have thoughts is a thought. Man. I told y'all this shit ain't it, man. Look, man, this shit straight direct to the point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7. Shit, we got 7 more pages, and I'm finishing this chapter tonight. So, if y'all got time, y'all catching this on the replay, it is what it is. The awareness of the man who, let's read what Zero said. Zero said the master is like a child. Yep. He sees everything, still experience, but without attachment. In action, and the action is the clinging. The awareness of a man who lives within, though he may be busy thinking, he is beyond even awareness itself. Beyond awareness itself. The master is like a child. All his actions are without motive. He is pure. Whatever he does, he is detached. Whatever he does, he is detached. He is blessed. He understands the nature of the self. His mind is no longer thirsty. He is the same under all condition. Whatever he sees or hears or smells or touches or tastes, the master is like the sky. He never changes. What does the world matter to him or its reflection? What does he care about seeking or the end of seeking? He is ever made the same. The victory is his. He has conquered the world. He is the embodiment of his own perfect essence, by nature with the infinite. By nature, one with the infinite. What more is there to say? He knows the truth. He has no desire for pleasure or liberation. At all times and all places, he is free from passion. He has given up the duality of the world which arises with the mind and is nothing more than a name. He is pure awareness. What is there left for him to do? The man who is pure knows for certain that nothing really exists. It is all the work of illusion. He sees what cannot be seen. His nature is peace. He does not see the world of appearances. So, what do rules matter to him? Or dispassion, renunciation, or self-control? His form is pure and shining light. He does not need to see the world. So what does he care or joy or sorrow, bondage? What does he care for? Joy or sorrow, bondage or liberation? He is infinite and shining. Before the awakening of understanding, the illusion of the world prevails. But the master is free from passion. He has no I. He has no mind. He has no, and he shines. He has no mind, M-I-N-E, and he shines. He sees the self, never suffers or dies. So what does he care for knowledge or the world or the feeling I am the body or the body is mine? P, my niggas, P. The moment a fool gives up concentration in his other spiritual practice, he falls prey to his fancies and desires. Consider what he's been saying about the fool the whole time for him to make that statement. I'm not going to read that again. Even after hearing the truth, the fool clings to his folly. He tries hard to look calm and composed, but inside he is full of cravings. When the truth is understood, work falls away. Though in the eyes of others, the masters may seem to work, in reality, he has no occasion to say or to do anything. When the truth is understood, the work falls away. Though in the eyes of others, the masters may seem to work, in reality, he has no occasion to say or do anything. Let that sink in. He has no fear. He is always the same. He has nothing to lose. For there is no darkness, then there is no light. There is nothing at all. He has no being of his own. His nature cannot be described. What is patience to him, or discrimination, or fearlessness? In his eyes, in the eyes of the master, there is nothing at all. There is no heaven. There is no hell. There is no such thing as a liberation in life. What more is there to say? Nothing he hopes to win. Nothing he fears to lose. His mind is cool and drenched with the nectar, free from desire. He neither praises the peaceful or blames the wicked. I like that. He neither praises the peaceful nor blames the wicked. the same in joy and in sorrow. He is always happy. He sees that there is nothing to do. He does not hate the world. He does not seek the self. He is free from joy and sorrow. He is not alive, and he is not dead. He is not attached to his family, free from desire and of the senses. He does not care about his body. The master expects nothing, and he shines. Whatever befalls him, he is always happy. He wonders where he will. And whatever he finds himself, and wherever he finds himself, when the sun sets, there he lies down to rest. He does not care if the body lives or dies. He is so firmly set in his own being. He rises above the round of birth and death, reincarnation, right? He is full of joy, attached to nothing, free from possession. He stands on his own. His doubts dispelled, he wonders where he will, never setting one thing against another. The master shines. The master shines. He never says mine. Gold, stone, earth, they are all the same to him. He is not bound by sloth, nor consumed by his own activity. He has served, or he has severed the knots which bind his heart. Who can compare to him? Indifferent to everything, he is happy and he is free. There is not the least desire in his heart. Only the man without desire sees without seeing, speaks without speaking, knows without knowing. In his view of things, good and evil have melted away. A king or a beggar, whoever is free from desire shines. He is utterly without guli, a guilt, worry, concerned, disarray is what the Gil word means. He has found his way. He is simplicity itself. He cares nothing for restraint or abandon. He has no interest in finding the truth. He has no desires. He rests happily in the self. His sorrows are over. How can anyone tell what he feels on the inside? Even when he is sound asleep, he is not asleep. Even when he is dreaming, he does not dream. Even when he is awake, he is not awake. Step by step, whatever befalls him, he is happy. He thinks without thinking. He feels without feeling. He is intelligent, but he has no mind. He has personality, but with no thought for himself. Man, I hope y'all getting this. I'm sliding and gliding through it because sometimes it just needs to be read for it to set on you. He is not happy, nor is he sad. He is not detached, nor is he bound. He is not free, nor does he seek freedom. He is not this, and he is not that. Amid distractions, he is undistracted. In meditation, he does not meditate. Foolish, and he is not a fool. Knowing everything, he knows nothing. Knowing everything, he knows nothing. I want to go in on that, but fuck it. He always lives within. He is everywhere the same. Action or duty are nothing to him because he is free from desire. He never worries about what he has done or has not done. Blame does not disturb him, nor does praise delight him. He neither rejoices in life nor fears death. His mind is calm, never seeking the solitude of the forest, nor running away from the crowd. Always and everywhere, he is one and the same. My friends. If you in the chat, I know y'all ain't coming. I see y'all watching. You in the chat, make sure y'all hit that like button. If y'all got some questions, some y'all want me to run back to, I gotta say this, P pushers, drop it in the chat. What we need to tap back in. 6 Day Sin, what's happening? 6 Day Sin. Let me read this chat. I don't know how you're feeling, but I feel this powerful energy is changing like Goku Super Saiyan state. Man, I love it. Zero say the master shines. That is it. This Day's in says Kether, the goddamn crown, the master. There you go. That part is all. He is not this or that. Zero says, truly, freedom is realizing you are freedom itself. But at the same time, there is no freedom because there is no enslavement. There is nothing bounding you. You are not trapped. So if you are freedom itself, you don't even have a concept of freedom because you have no bondage to compare yourself to. That's not a thing for you. And all he's saying through this whole thing is that he realizes he sees without seeing, knowing without knowing. Because he's all of this shit. He's not seeing and knowing in the sense that a normal person does it. But even then, he sees and senses things just like a normal person does. But at the same goddamn time, he knows that he is not this person. That's all he's saying. That's what the conclusion is supposed to be from this super duper contradictory body of work. An over logical person cannot get this. Over intellectual person cannot get this. It does not make intellectual sense at all. But one who gets this just gets it. It's like, I don't know how I get it, but I get it. I just get it. I get it. I get it so much that there is actually nothing to get. What does he say up here? Where is it? Knowing everything, he knows nothing. So you get it, and when you really get it, you understand that there is actually nothing to get. There's no grasping of anything intellectually. This shit is here. This shit here is clear the fuck cut dry. What you do with it is up to you. And the trick of it is, it ain't shit you can do with this type of information or this type of realization. What you gonna do with this? You gonna go build some homeless shelters or some shit with this shit? You gonna go build the next new iPhone with this shit? Not saying that you can't do none of that, but this is not the shit that you learn to try to figure out how to do that. It's useless information. Hope you understand what I'm saying. This is very useless information. This is a very useless study. There's no practice in this. And if there was a practice to get to where? Because practice, eventually that practice needs to be used in the game. This is not telling you how to play the game. This is not a step-by-step. This is telling you one who has realized that even the game doesn't exist. The very thing that you're practicing for don't exist, let alone there being a fucking game to be practicing for and getting ready for. So is this spirituality? What do y'all think, bro? I need more people to drop something in the chat. Does this sound like spirituality to you? Does this sound like spirituality to you? To all y'all who just joined, hit the like button. Does this sound like spirituality to you? Something for you to strive towards and set out goals. Okay. 6 Days Sensei, he driving. Does this sound like some shit for you to set out goals to do? Caught you at the red light. All right, bro, watch it, brother. Don't catch one of them tickets for this useless information, for this useless book study. For something that tells you now that you know everything, you know nothing. Ain't that some shit? Going through all of this. Listen, bro. Hold up, bro. Hold up, bro. Ain't that some shit? Going through all this spiritual shit, so-called going on a path, so-called doing rituals, having these spiritual experiences, people around you coming to you for information, like, oh, bro, be knowing shit. You know what I'm saying? People around you rejecting you. Oh, bro, be thinking he knows some shit. That's that weird shit. We ain't on that. Going through all of this, learning all the signs and symbols, gods, heavens, earth, dimensions, conspiracies, all of this, just to get to the point of recognizing that you actually know nothing. Ain't nothing to know. By knowing everything, you know that there's nothing to know. What do they mean by that? By realizing the foundational cosmic principle of awareness, that you are that and nothing else. Actually, you everything at the same time. But you go up through those stages of learning these different aspects, and then you reach this point like, oh shit, I'm the backdrop. I'm the illuminator itself, the illuminer of the illusion, which means there's no me separate from the illusion, which means there is no illusion and there is no me, which means all the things that can be known in the illusion, I now know them because I know the founding principle. Just like they use the analogy of a clay pot. You can take some clay and build a pot, a cup, a fucking home out of clay. But the founding principle amongst all of those, I know it. It's clay. It can be formulated and put into everything else you want to create with the shit, gang. You can create what the fuck ever what you want about the clay. And I ain't got to know the exact formula that you use to make this and what steps you took. I'm not talking about knowing the details. I'm talking about I know what all of those things are that you just built out of this clay. And by that way, it's nothing but clay. You just put a different name, form, and function on this one. This one is a pot. This one is a home. This is a fucking toilet seat. By knowing all of those things, I come to find out that I actually know no things. I know nothing. And when you come to that point, what spiritual teacher can pull a blindfold over your eye and trick you into becoming a part of whatever fucking cult? You're not getting finessed by motherfuckers giving you some type of goddamn. Come on, man. Let me read what 6 Days Sin said. I don't think it's useless because at least we gain the gift of the tetragrammaton. It's all nothingness, but everything is an expression of God. And 6 Days Sin says that is the beauty. Because I know you probably missed the beginning of we was going through it, and like finding that happiness and that freedom just by knowing how things are, like truly seeing the way that things are. While everybody else is trying to find freedom, I'm looking for freedom or I'm looking for peace. One who has realized that by knowing everything, I actually know nothing. Now I know how all of this shit came to be or what all of this shit is. I see the beauty in it. And I can have fun and I can enjoy myself. Because at first I was struggling, striving, trying to get an understanding, trying to see, trying to find the true me, trying to align with the higher self. There's no out of alignment with the higher, so-called higher self. I'm using it because that's a common term. There's no out of alignment. There is no out of alignment. You're always in alignment with the self because that's all the fuck that you are. The rest of this shit is just movement on the movie screen. So when I was saying useless, there's nothing you can do with this information because now you have realized that there is nothing to do. Now you have realized there's no higher self to be chasing. Because there's no separation from you and that. You are that. It doesn't matter if you've meditated 1,000,001 times. It doesn't matter if you know all the fucking symbols. It doesn't matter if you know how to pronounce all the words and know all the definitions. It doesn't matter if you do or if you don't. That's still, neither one of them is going to get you closer to the self because you can be no closer to the self than what you already are by being it itself. What do you do with that one, buddy? Take that to the bank and see if they'll cash that check. But yeah, y'all. Hopefully y'all hit this like button. Hopefully y'all share this on y'all Instagram, your threads, your Twitter, your YouTube, and your Facebooks, man. Chris Dixon, my dog. You came literally at the minute as I'm about to say the closing words, bro. I hope you can go back and watch this one. This was a powerful one. This was a powerful one. But peace to you, Chris Dixon, my dog. Hope everything good on your end, y'all. And as I always say, no obstacles will apprehend you. Prosper over pain. There are no obstacles. There's only opportunities for you to realize the self, yourself, who you truly are. Every obstacle is just an opportunity for that. And there's always the opportunity to observe your one-sided thoughts, your one-sided opinions, your ego. Why did I respond like this? What's there? And who is this I that's offended by this type of shit? That's the question. That's the observation. Sis Daisy saying, what if all your knowledge of self disappeared? Then you'd be right back at the same state that you already were in. The time where you didn't have the so-called knowledge, right? Like the teachings or the knowledge of self. You were never separated from the self. So it wouldn't even matter if all of it disappeared. Because guess what? It can't. You can catch amnesia, or what is that shit that they say the old folks end up catching? That ain't amnesia. I forgot, but y'all know what I'm talking about. But they forget every goddamn thing. Because that's a possibility. So whether you got the knowledge of the self or knowledge of all this other spiritual shit, that happens, then what? On an egotistical level, then what? But the truth still remains of the fact that you are the self. There's nothing anybody can do to change about it. You can't lose it, and you can't gain it. You can't seek it and find it, because you can't seek and find yourself. Dementia. That was it. Yeah, that was it. Dementia, 6 days in. And yeah, 6 days in. I don't know if you meant that like in a sense of like, what if all the books and the teachings of it went away, or literally, what if you caught dementia and you no longer remember any of this knowledge and information? And just to clarify that, like, still, it wouldn't matter. That's the beauty of it. You can't be separated from the self. If we want to put it in terms of God, you can't be separated from God. You can't pray and meditate and get closer to God. There is no closer to God that you can get, because you are it. You are God. There's no guru you can try to become like. You are the guru, the real you. Zero said, I share this in all parts of the universe. Aliens need to see this, man. Facts, though. But they struggling to survive, too. Let's see. Standing on principle every time. Oh, okay. And then he dropped another comment, says, or knowledge that you have right now. I think we still answered that question, though, basically. Very fascinating. Facts, bro. Facts. What Zero said, you are what you see. 6 days in, I'm gonna tell you this. We gonna play around with this. We're gonna play around with this, and it's a reason I say that. Because this body, this mind, has not died and came back and told you what is happening in the afterlife. We only receive that by way of other people telling us what about the other afterlife. So, and I'll give it to you in multiple ways. To take this knowledge is saying you get to take the past with you. What takes it with it? It can be nothing but the mind. It can be nothing but the mind that's taking it. So obviously in occult and esoteric traditions, listen, when I say traditions and cultures build up belief systems. So for one, where do we take this information? What is it stored in that it's not already stored in, which we can use the concept of universal mind? What is this knowledge stored in? What do we put it in, store it in, and take on with us? What is that mechanism? What is that apparatus we use? What is that data bank that we can take with us? Because you got to remember, who are you? Who am I is the question we got to ask. Who am I? We can't say we take it with us, because with us or with I, we got to know who the fuck that I is first. And that's what we're talking about here. Nobody knows who the fuck this I is. And nobody can find this I, this me. Nobody can find it, because it doesn't exist. It's only a thought. So I'm leaving that question open to your interpretation. I even think with answering that question, the answer is already there. And I believe you already have the answer, my nigga. Hold on, what'd you say? Wait, it isn't even our information. It's not. Because who are we to own it? See, that's what we did yesterday in the live stream. If I was you, I'll go back and watch it if you get the time. Where we talked about free will and fear. Free will and desire and fear. We talked about that yesterday. The day before yesterday. This ain't a person who can take ownership of this information, because there is no person on the fundamental level. There is no person. So there's no owner of this information. This information is born out of the universal mind. When I say the universal mind, thoughts that exist, that create the concept of reality, that create culture, thoughts, and memory, experiences, and emotions. Those are the moving blocks of this motherfucker. This ain't even our information. It's all information belongs to information itself. All knowledge is past knowledge. There's no right now in the moment knowledge other than the observation or the observer knowing, the observer who knows the knower who knows all of this shit. Nothing in particular, but just all of it simultaneously, same time. GTGG says the knowledge comes from perception. The idea is to remove all the layers of identification, which makes the mind bias towards the identification. Facts. That is distorting the perception of the mind. 100% agree. 100% agree. 6 days saying, I don't think we take it with us. We use it. That's it. That's the only function of the fucking intellect. Let's just say the mind. That's the only function of the mind, is to use past knowledge to continue to exist. As I think that I'm this body, as I think that I'm this person, we use that information, we use that knowledge to do that. Like I told you, all knowledge ain't nothing but regurgitated knowledge. Rebuilt, reshaped, resized, and polished up knowledge. We have no idea. We have no way of creating new knowledge. There is no new knowledge. There is no new thoughts. There is no original thoughts. Your thoughts are not your own. You don't own your thoughts. They come and keep coming. Where the fuck from? Where do thoughts come from? My nigga? They constantly coming right now as you sitting there. Six Days Sin said, I wonder what the purpose is. The purpose of what? I'm assuming you saying, like, what's the point of life? Let's see what we just read. Let's see. Okay, I don't see what I was looking for. It ain't right there. But I'll leave you with this other question to that question. Why are human beings the only one who has to ask, what's the purpose? And it's obviously the 6 days since you've been here enough. So you know I'm not talking at you. I'm talking to you. and to the people that's listening. But why do us human beings, why are we the only ones who trying to figure out some type of purpose? Why are we never okay with what just is? Why the fuck can't we just be okay with what just is? Why do we always have to project something out and say, oh, this has to mean something? Let's find out what it is. And what you're going to do, not just you, but you as a person with a mind and an intellect and a memory bank, what you're going to try to do is go look for it. Then you're going to start creating meaning behind what you have found or that you seem to have found. And you're going to give it a name. That's how you're going to come up with the purpose. So the purpose technically going to be whatever the fuck you and your mind come up with. Whatever the fuck my mind come up with. Because I'm understanding that nothing is neither true nor false. It just is what the fuck it is. And he said, what if we can't even perceive it? And that's the thing about it. That's the answer you're going to get to. That's what he was saying here when he says, by knowing everything, he knows no thing. So now that I get the understanding of this place, that the illusion is going to continuously feed me illusions. Every time I try to connect the dot on some high spiritual knowledge, every time I try to dig deep and get some understand conspiracy theories, every time I try to do a ritual meditation, get close, the goddamn illusion going to keep throwing more and more fucking illusions to you. And Zero said it. The answer. The point of life is to realize there is no point, and then doing something with it. I make that a lot. I say, man, I missed. I'm gonna have to run it back. Yeah, most definitely run that back, bro. Most definitely run that back. Y'all know I love these questions. So 6 days in, I really appreciate you for dropping them questions, bro. Zero says zero. I'm gonna say his name again. The searching is the answer, because without doing it, there is nothing. And if there is only nothing without something, we never realize it in the first place. I'm fucking with that 100%. No need for expounding on that. I think that's dead the fuck obvious right there, what he just said. You gonna laugh. It becomes funny. Because all this struggling and striving to goddamn realize something is going to leave you wordless. And then here go word 6 days in says, wow, no words, man. No words. That's what is going to leave you. And that's why we get into this, what's the name in this book? And he's saying he rests in silence. After figuring this shit out, you rest in silence. I mean, start a YouTube or whatever. You know. Or talk to some folks about it, whatever floats anybody's boat. But you become silent because there's nothing you can say. Because you understand whatever it is that you have realized can't even ultimately be described or transcribed or translated to someone else. Ultimately, it can't. What did it say at the beginning of this book? Where it said, let me go. Damn. What did it say? What did it say? But it said in the book about Ashtavakra has realized this and realized that. And by realizing this, he understands that nothing is true and nothing is real. And in this book or in this conversation, who by understanding this, that would be folly to teach something. And it said, who would teach folly? And he said, shit, of course, Ashtavakra would. He would teach folly. He would teach folly. But why would he teach folly? That's why this shit is in such a roundabout way, non-intellectual way that this shit is written. First of all, that's gonna get past your intellect. And the only way you're gonna be able to get it is just by like intuitively getting it. It's folly because words are false. Words can't ultimately describe what the thing itself is. Words, the word tree don't describe a tree. It only describes a tree to somebody who has accepted, understood, and taken in the concept of what we call a tree. That don't mean a tree is actually a goddamn tree. So if I sit and talk to somebody from an island who ain't never heard or understood the concept of tree, I ain't got to do that. I say that to my son. Walk up to my newborn son and say, son, tree. And you're like, oh, yeah, yeah. Or slob dropping down his lip. He don't got no concept of that shit. What did he say in the beginning of the book or this chapter? The master is like a child. Let that sink in. That exactly 6 days in the universe is an illusion, but it's fun to study and play around in it. But in the end, what is the point? Is there any point? That's the same question as it. What's the purpose? It's the same answer to that question. And you know that answer. You have it. You have it. Nothing is true. Everything is possible. GTGT says, there is no point, but since we're here, we might as well explore the core of our very existence. It would be a shame to exist here and only experience the surface level of who/what we are. I agree. And I feel like that's why we are all here. And I mean literally here right now in this chat. I feel like you them type of motherfuckers. I think it's obvious with the statements that y'all saying, with the questions that's being asked. Zero said, there is, but it's not like we think it is. It's just to realize it. The most enlightened beings are a child and animals in the sense of just flowing. Automatic, systematic. We the only ones with our intellect producing these thoughts that try to get us out of this automatic, systematic flowing. That's why I say the intellect is the ultimate builder and destroyer. Everything the intellect comes up with ends up destroying the intellect. So we live in a highly intellectual society. So you can probably bet your bottom dollar what's going to happen. The very thing that we build up with our intellect could be the very thing that destroys this society. And another one would be built off the ashes of that one. That's just what happens around this bitch. That for a fact we do seem to know. One thing goes up, that thing must come down. And that thing that was once down must come the fuck up. It must. Thousand Puzzle Piece said, so the true self is lost and don't know what to do. That's why we born / manifest lost and don't know what to do. The true self really don't even have a, I know what you're saying, but the true self don't even have a concept of being lost. You don't get the concept of that type of shit until a so-called human ego and mind is born. Until a mind comes into contact with so-called itself or its own projections. Because that which is the so-called true self, what it does not do, it does not try to find a purpose. It does not get lost. It does not know itself. We have to understand, to know yourself, you have to have a medium. You have to have something separate from you to know yourself. We can use our day-to-day experience to see what the fuck you look like. You have to use a shiny level, surface level substance or object called a mirror or something of that nature, of a mirror, to see yourself. Just like that, the self cannot know itself. It has to use what we call an illusion to be able to know itself. It has to use a distorted middle point to know itself, because there's nothing for it to compare itself to. If you're the only thing that ever exists, that ever is, the only way you can know yourself is through some illusionary standpoint. Six Days Sin said, and peace, cosmic puzzle piece, goddamn it. Entered in with the right shit to say. 6 Days Sin, my answer is that I create my purpose, but my purpose is only mine. But it isn't. It's not. When we use that word mine, let's take it back to a surface level. There is no mine or me without other. So we cannot exist without other, or this concept of who we are as a human being, as separate individual, body, mind, and soul, cannot exist without the other. There has to be an other. So even then, this personal purpose that you got is constantly connected. Matter of fact, it's no different from the other person. So it's never truly yours. It's a collective of all. Because we couldn't have a concept of this is mine without the concept of that is theirs, but this is mine. So you can't separate the so-called opposite from me and mine. There has to be. You can't even say the words me and mine without the so-called opposite, which shows you that there are one. That's what we went through in that other video. There is no peace without fear. You can't have it. You can't have it. There has to be a concept of fear that you subscribe to before you can say, I want peace. That's why we saying on here in the what's the name, there is no freedom. The master's not searching for freedom because there is no freedom. Because what I am as awareness, as the self, cannot be separated. So if it can't be separated from nothing, it can't be bound by nothing, which means it cannot be freed by nothing. There's nothing to free this thing because there's nothing holding this thing. He says, Zero says, in my case, experience music by listening, and what make you feel is worthy to be there in this human life. Tame Impala can give you enlightenment if you really listen to, okay, that must be a band or a music artist. The thing here is just to realize that you are already free. And once you realize that you are already free, there was never nothing to be freed from. I know this so-called illusion seems to be getting us, but you got to understand those are concepts that are given to you by the mind, by way of the mind. It may seem like it's coming from other people. On a level, we say, yeah, other people gave us this concept of freedom. But even then, those people only exist as ideas in your mind. I know that's hard to accept or conceptualize. But when you get it, you just get it, bro. Everything is a projection of the mind. And the mind is nothing but a bundle of thoughts of which you can't grasp none of them and hold on to them tight to be able to find this self that I am. And I don't mean the capital S self, and I don't mean the capital I am. I mean the person that you think you are. Hey, that shit hitting, ain't it? I made that a lot. I fought with y'all so much, I'm in here still hitting it off with y'all. Hey, my nigga said that sleep talk hitting, boy. Hey, nigga supposed to be asleep 2 hours ago. I said, nah, I'm gonna get on here and fuck with the folks and go on to do this. I'm gonna get the fuck up out of here, bro. Hey, nah, real shit. That's what I'm thinking too. Like once you said that, the word channeling came up in my head. Like this is the best way. So like, yeah, real shit, bro. I probably done fell asleep because I really don't know what the fuck I just said. Hopefully that shit meant something. I can't even recall what I just said before I opened my eyes up and read that comment. When you realize you're already free, always be now. You can really live. I mean, y'all, this shit straightforward to the goddamn point. We got 2 chapters left in this book, man. I already gave the closing statement that no obstacles will apprehend you. Prosper over pain. You will realize that they were never obstacles, they were just opportunities for you to prosper over the pain, for you to observe, see what this shit really is clear. What all these spiritual books and teachers and gurus talking about, man? Why do some make that shit so goddamn abstract and some so straight direct with it? When it gets so abstract, sometimes don't that shit kind of make you feel like, damn, bro, I don't know, I don't get it. Like I need to work harder to get it. And come over here, what a nigga try to do is just get to you straight raw. And I tell you, you need to understand the human mind and its processes and what this motherfucker does, because it deletes and starts and generalizes all the information. And it's including the shit from the gurus. So when we even get the shit that they got, our mind, it's already deleted, distorted, and generalized by their mind. And then by the time we get it, we gonna delete, generalize, and distort it again. So think about this secondhand knowledge. All knowledge is secondhand knowledge. All knowledge is knowledge of the past. Love y'all niggas, bro. Have a good night, niggas. SOP.